Okay, so I would like you to start by just giving us your full name, what is your title, and tell us a little bit about your work.
Beautiful. I am Sheikh Amir Jaffa Kawinga. I am Sheikh Amir Jaffa Kawinga. I am holding the position of National Chairman of Kadria Muslim Association Malawi, KIMAM. I'm the National Chairman for Kadria Muslim Association Malawi, KIMAM, and I'm also inside mediator for Public Affairs Committee. I'm inside mediator of Public Affairs Committee. I'm also board member for Public Affairs Committee. And I am also a director of air cargo in Malawi. And I happen also to be trustee for MIA, Malawi Interfaith Aid Association, and other portfolios. I am coming from Chirazur, southern part of Malawi. That's in Blantyre. That's a district near Blantyre. The southern part of Malawi is where I come from, and that's about myself. I've been in mediation for quite a long time, where I've done a lot of things in terms of mediation. I happen to be also a village chief. I'm a village chief in my district in Chirazu, where I do some mediation in terms of traditional issues. And also as a religious leader, I also do such mediation in religious aspects and the country as a whole. That's part of my myself.
So this is fascinating. Do you think that there is a difference in the role of you as a mediator in terms of you taking a position as a chief, or you taking a position as a religious leader, or you in one of these, more cosmopolitan positions where you hold the directorship, etc.? So is each mediation process then, depending on the hat that you're wearing, would it be different?
Yeah, yes, of course, it differs according to the couple or the issue that come forward. Suppose the issue is to do with tradition, then I take a cup of tradition and sort according to the traditional values. For instance, if it comes to be, let's say, wrangles of the land in the villages where the villages are disputing around in terms of land, maybe be customer land or whatever, or public land, that issue is to deal with traditional aspects. So I deal according to the issue in terms of tradition. Now, when it comes to religious, that's to do with the religious values, right? As a Muslim, I actually see what the Quran says and what the tradition of the Prophet says. That's what we're calling about hadith, what it says about the issue that comes forth. So we look into both, look into the Quran and also into the tradition of the Prophet, the teaching of what did the Prophet say about that particular issue, if it happened in the past. But if it did not happen in the past, then we go to the consensus ijma, where we have to make sure that the mediation should be valued according to Islamic aspects and religious per se. But now, when it comes to be an issue of religious, not actually to do with Islam, that is interdenomination, to do both Christians and Muslims. Then I see both sides. What does the Quran, what does the Christian say, and what does the Islam say? What does both as religion per se, not actually as Islam or not actually Christian, but a teaching, or the teaching of God. What does it say about that issue? So we mediate according to that, so that there's a balance in between Christians and Muslims. Now, when it comes to political, because I happen to do also political, then we look into the issues. If it is to do with the country or to do with a particular community, then we look into that political without looking at the side of that particular party. But we look at as a dimensions as per country, as per our country and per our maybe constitutions of our country and other issues that are related to political aspects. Then when it comes to, say, maybe as a director of corporate organizations, then we see what does the code of conduct of that particular organization say, and the other principles of that. So we mediate. I do mediation according to that what I already said.
So as an African mediator then, do you think that your approach to mediation is impacted by particular ideals that are implicit to your cultural background? Does your cultural background have an impact or an influence in the way you approach mediation?
Yeah, definitely. Culture is either positive or negative impact to the mediations. And that is very important in any mediation that we tackle. We need actually to look into the aspect of culture. What types of people are we dealing with, right? Because if we are not seeing that seriously, then we might have not get what we want to achieve. We might not achieve positively, or we might achieve negatively. So culture is very important and has an impact to mediation. For instance, for example, in Malawi, we have different cultures, right? And we have different tribes. So each tribe has got their own issues that we need. So sometimes there happens to be a particular tribe maybe have differences with a particular tribe. So we go along that and see what can be the best practice in coming between those cultures, so that we come to compromise and understand the relevance and understand the positive results of what we want to achieve.
Now, when you look at your mediation approach, what would you say is your preferred approach to mediation? For example, what do you prioritize in a mediation process? Are you more focused on the output, on the process? Are you interested in, channeling your own values to the mediation process? Or do you think about sticking to the particular ideals or formats of the mediation? What, governs your approach to mediation?
In mediation that we have tackled, actually, what you already said is very important. Actually, firstly, the first important aspect that we do is to look seriously into the process, because we cannot have an output which is positive without dealing seriously with the process. The process is very important in mediation, whereby you actually set the ground where the convenience place for the people, trust, where the people, the parties that are involved, in the wrangles, in the disputes, should actually trust the person to do mediation. For example, if they are trust me, they are happy that I, as Sheikh Amir have to mediate them, they have to accept that. So that's the process. And after making the qualification, the best qualification for the process, then you actually know that the output will be positive, right? Not saying that, not necessarily that the output that comes should make sure that the process that we are coming from, we don't with positively. So the process is very important, but as again, after the process has been put in place positively, then we need to see that output is positive. Because in mediation, we want to make sure that people agree. They might not agree as soon as possible, because mediation is a process. It takes a long time, right? It takes a long time. But however, we also look into those areas, the ideals, the impartial aspect as a mediator, right? The condition, understanding the parties. We need first to understand the parties, approach the party separately, and understand the issue. Then agree on the way how we do it. Then meet the other party, make sure that are made. So after, when you agreed that they are ready to say, they choose which best place that we can discuss. Are they interested? I should add other people so that they can come to the mediation and help the process. So that is very important. So to us, or to me, the most important area that to achieve a positive result is the process. That the process is very vital in coming up the very positive results of the mediation. Then the outcome won't be a problem. But if the process is not nurtured well, then accept that the end result of the discussion, the mediation won't be well, or that won't be good. But this is the area that actually a mediator needs to see and make sure that the parties agree, and agree the places that you need to come together and discuss. and also they be assured that they are safe. They are safe with the mediator, the people involved in that. There will be no other things that also create more problem than before. Because sometimes if you don't care well, you don't look well, you don't try to put things well in order in the process, then you must find that instead of make sure that the people agree, then you have extended the dispute, the wrangles than before. So actually, the most important in this process is the process, then the outcome of the mediation is also important.
Okay. How would you describe success in a mediation process? Okay. And when has a mediation process, in your opinion, been successful?
The mediation process is when you have put all the requirements in the right place. When I say all requirements in the right place, is the one, party A and party B agrees, number one. Number two, they agree you as their mediator, let them agree that. Then let them agree the place that you want to do the mediation, right? And also, they need to have trust that the other end, the other party that are coming they had a dispute, they are not coming to create more problems. Now, after that, then I see when you have put the two parties together and they agree and make a fair resolutions, they agree that no, they can move forward and leave behind what they are disputing. That is very successful, right? When you see that the two parties they are disputing, they can shake hands, right? For example, I can give you an example that, let's say, Christians are fighting with Muslims or Muslims fighting with Christians, and you come between them, and at the end of the day, they agree that let's respect each other. We respect that a Christian, they pray to God, and a Muslim, they pray to God. If there are issues that agree, let's agree and respect each other and work together. That's more important. I'll give you an example in Malawi, what happened a year or 2 years ago. There was an issue of a billboard dispute. Muslims put a billboard in the street of Blantyre where it was written, you have read the Old Testament and now read Al-Quran, a ultimate miracle. With that, the Christians were not, it did not go well with the Christians, where they said, when you have read the Old Testament, if you talk about Old Testament, you are talking about the Bible. That's according to the Christian understanding, right? Then you say, now read the New Testament, which is the Quran, the ultimate miracle. The Christians were not happy with that. So there were wrangles there, dispute. We came in between, right? As Public Affairs Committee, I was part of that mediation. We brought together the Christians here and the Muslims here, said, can you clarify your argument as Christians? Say, no, look, if you want to promote about the Quran, you want people to read the Quran, why should you talk about Old Testament? Because if you are talking about Old Testament, you are talking about the Bible. So what you are trying to put, you are trying to undermine our Bible. So we asked the Muslims, what were you passing? What was the message here? You say you have read the Old Testament, now read the last testament, Al-Quran, the ultimate. What were you're trying to say here? So the Muslims said, no, we are trying to say, let the people read the Quran. Say, no, the message, yes, you are trying to tell the people that they should read the Quran. You wouldn't have talked about the other book, which is the Old Testament, which is the Bible. You are supposed just to say, read the Quran, ultimate miracle, read the Quran, which has got a good message. That message couldn't have, offended the Christians. So the Muslims agreed, and the Christians agreed. They changed the message, and they shook hands. So that was how we say we came to be one of the successful mediation, which I had it. So a successful mediation is when people at the end of the day, they agree to move forward, and they agree to forget what happened in the past, what they were disputing, and make sure they move forward and work together for either for development or whatever they are doing. So that's successful mediation.
That is very powerful, because I mean, by addressing it that way, you actually averted possibly a strong conflict that could have erupted between the members of the community or people in that particular area, and could have been disastrous. So yeah, that's very, very
Yes,
impressive.
yes.
And so then, for any mediation
Yeah.
process, obviously there needs to be a leader, right? What will you think should be the selection criteria for being a leader in a mediation process?
Yeah, first we need to see the leading mediator. One should be matured in terms of thinking, right? Should be matured, have patience, somebody who is who can understand the issues, a listening person, do things professionally, right? Friendly, the person who can negotiate well, facilitate well, right? Be able to be trusted, a trustworthy person. That's most important, but be a trustworthy. Who is trusted both sides. People should say, if you want this one to be a leader, if, for example, I'll give you an example. We had an issue, you heard about election in Malawi, settlement over election in Malawi. Yeah, in 2019, where we had dispute between the ruling party, which was the Democratic Party, Democratic Progressive Party, DPP, which won then that election, which was nullified, and we had the Malawi Congress Party, which is now ruling with an alliance here. There was a dispute there where they said no, the elections were had a lot of void, and yeah, they did not go well. And there was that dispute before they went to court. We had to come in between. All right, as Public Affairs Committee, we are a number of about 6 we appointed. I was one of the people among them as inside mediators, where we were to do shuttle diplomacy, going to DPP, going to Malawi Congress Party, going to UTM, and most other parties which were involved in those election wrangles. But now, before starting the mediation, the names were presented. So the parties were saying, no, we want this person to be in the mediation. We want this one to be the leader. We don't want this one to be a leader because we don't trust. So we had to do all around to make sure that all parties agreed that this particular person should be a leader for that for that group. So what issues were being looked into were being trusted by both parties, to be a trustworthy person, a person who could listen and make sure that he leads the team in the best way and not create problems. And not only the leaders as per se, but even the mediators themselves. When selecting the mediator to be part of the mediation team, should have similar qualities, because you can have a leader, right? You can have a best leader, but the team, if the team that is included in the mediation team are not a best team, then you can end up having a negative results in the mediation. Because whenever you go, you find that one of the team member is proactive, right? It's trying to be judgmental, not listening, maybe just coming up asking questions which are relevant to what you are discussing. So both the leader must have the qualities which I've already mentioned, and even the teammate should also have the similar qualities, so that you need to come up with a successful and a positive results of mediation.
Yeah, I suppose for the mediator, the team members are very important as well, because they provide supplementary information, and they also assist. They assist in the way in which you present yourselves. Now, considering all of these are the qualities, definitely. And yes, you speak about, but do you think there should be any kind of formal training that a mediator should have, or formal experience before being selected as a lead mediator, or before going into mediation?
100%. That's absolutely true. That's true. Of course, there's some people who are born leaders, who are born mediators, but a formal training is very important. That is required for us to become mediators. We are trained by UNDP, UN, and other relevant organizations that train us, because knowledge is very important. Sometimes you just have You cannot just wake up and say you study mediating. You need to have knowledge on that. Apart from the training, you also need to read. You also need to read, do some research, right? Try to find out what happens in other areas, other countries, concerning similar issues, different issues. What happens? What were the results? A mediator should be some sort of person who tries to find out more information in the process, because you are dealing with people. You are dealing with people who have branches, right? People who have disagreed in other different issues. So knowledge is important in mediation, and not just having once a knowledge. You need to do some refresher on the process. Yeah, needed to find more information. Like I gave an example, right? We are dealing with different around with different disputes in a religion, right? Dispute in a political, right? Dispute in the tradition, like maybe land, right? Dispute in business, right? All those issues you need to have information that. So a mediator should have trainings, and should read more, and should do more research, and interact in different forums. That is very important to have a best mediator.
Okay, so obviously what you're saying is that it requires a lot of skill, but it also needs effort on your part, and you have to do the training. You have to make sure that you familiarize yourself with a lot of issues. Now, right in the start, you mentioned something very unique, in that you mediate in 3 different kind of contexts. So you said you mediate as a chief, you mediate as a religious leader, and you mediate in political issues. Now, so that means you have access to an experience with a full, shall I say, a full range of the society that you are in, and that would be Malawi. In each of these circumstances, so as chief in the village, as a religious person in the community which you are in, and even as a mediator in political issues, do you find, Sheikh, are you with me? Okay, there you are. Do you find...
Yeah, okay, yeah, you were.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you.
Okay. So as a person in these 3 different scenarios, do you find that the situation in Malawi, or the context in Malawi, is still very patriarchal? It's still a very male-dominated, male-oriented society. And if that is the case, even in terms of maybe, say, religious conservatism or traditional conservatism, do you think then that this, considering the nature of this patriarchal context, do you believe that women can be effective in mediating in the kind of situations that you are mediating in? And do you believe that women then have the ability to participate meaningfully in mediation processes? Sheikh Amir? Sheikh Amir, did you get the full context of my question?
Yes, of course. Women, yes. For example, in Malawi, if we are talking about population, we're talking that we have a larger population in terms of women than men. But dominance in all position, dominance, whether in mediation or aspect, village chiefs, religion, politics, we find that it's dominated by men, right? Fortunately enough, in our mediation team, the public inside mediators public affairs committee, we had 2 women. Where yes, the number was about 6. So 2 women there, they contributed positively, right? And also when I come to my chieftainship, I chose a woman, because I'm up and down, and I chose a woman to lead. Yes, it's very successful. Yeah, we are trying to make sure that women are coming in, because many issues that are rising, they are culminating maybe in women. So women most of the time have disputes. So we need to have more women there. But also, when you talk about a woman to be a mediator, yes, a woman always have a patient, is a patient person, listening person, as a woman do listen, and sometimes it's intelligent to understand issues better than men. It's unfortunate that the only major problem that women is courage, right? Sometimes they feel if you're not supported, courage. Sometimes they are not courageous to do the work, right? They feel I'm a woman. No, but if you give support, like the women we have in the mediation team, the public affairs committee, yes, we gave that support. They are courageous. Then we saw how they contributed, and sometimes the issues that are arising in their circles of women, they go there and try to mediate in between them. And we are trying to make sure that more women are trained in this process, because a country whereby you got a large percentage of women, then you need to have more women in that perspective. Only that sometimes women undermine their own friends, right? When they see women coming to mediate, they say, a woman, oh, what is she going to say to us? If it was a man, if there were men coming to us, the better. So sometimes that undermining makes some women to feel not comfortable to do that work. But to me, I feel it's high time we felt women are put forward to the mediation teams, different mediation forums, different mediation groups, so that they can carry the task, because it's very competitive. It's a task that is very unique for women to do so. As you understand, not even in Malawi alone, also across the world, we have more women than men. And most of the wrangles that we see, most of the disputes that we see are happening with more men. I mean, more women than men. So it's very important to have women, and the women can be successful mediators if they are given enough trainings, knowledge, and the like. That's important.
This is a very powerful message that you have just put forward through, but you also, highlight something which I agree with you 100%, is that women can put women down. So considering this mentality and the fact that, sometimes you have very strong pockets of conservative societies, is there space in Malawi, for women to mediate? I mean, how is the community, the society, and at large, even the political system, in terms of legislation, etc., responding to women coming into these public spaces and occupying these positions? Is there an acceptance of women generally now from where you stand? Is there an acceptance generally for women to come into the public space now and to occupy these positions? Are mindsets shifting or changing in the way in which the general population and even in the political sphere, people are viewing women and the right of women to mediate?
The atmosphere in Malawi changed, the mindset changed, since the time we had a woman president. You remember some years ago, we had, I think from 2012 to 2014, we had a woman president, Her Excellency, Dr. Joyce Banda. When she came to that position, women started thinking that, no, look, we can do it. Because she was trying to make sure that women are coming forth to do different work, to be in different positions. And we see now that mindset change of different people are now changing. They're thinking now that, no, when women are given a position, they can do it, right? We see in a different position, maybe being chief executives, directors, in different, being ministers, member of parliament, and other areas. Yes, people are receiving positively. And even the mediation, like I said before, that we had 2 women mediators. We were meeting the presidents. We could go to meet the presidents. We could go to meet presidents of parties. We'd go meet and the different religious leaders and other people, of influential people. They could see those women there. right, and speaking strongly. Yeah. So you see, yes, of course, there that stigma where you see some people feeling women cannot come and mediate in this issue, but we prefer men. But we're trying to look here. If the resources are around, then we say we want to make sure that the community, right, the population are taught about the importance of women being mediators and what they can bring, and what the importance of having a leader, a woman leader. What does that mean? The positivity of having that. So yeah, we see that there's a change, gradual change, of course. Yeah, I cannot just change today because our culture in Africa, the culture that we grew, we feel a woman is made to be in the kitchen. A woman is made to be just in the home, right, as a housewife, something like that. But now we're looking at giving different examples, right? Right, where you say we can give an example yourself as a doctor, right? A lady, right? So we are giving you different examples, different people. I mean, different ladies who are at the top, right? Maybe doctors in the hospitals, lecturers in universities, all right, in different portfolios, the women. So we see how some women are lawyers or that stuff. So we are trying to make sure that people, that negativity they had according to the culture, African culture, should move out. So similarly, they should understand that even women mediators can be a team of women mediators and mediate the issue and come to the end, and people agree. Yeah.
This is wonderful. It shows certainly that there is a mind shift that is happening in Malawi, and like you said, it happens at the time of Joyce Banda. But is there the same follow through? Do people in the rural areas feel the same about the position of women as people in the urban areas? Is there the same kind of a mindset?
Yeah. All right. Yes. Yeah. Can you repeat the question? Is it a question?
Yes. I want to know if there is the same change in mindset that is happening in both in the rural areas and in the urban areas, or is it that in the urban areas people are still, more accepting of these changes, more progressive because of education, etc. But in the rural areas, they're still very stuck in their old maybe cultures, traditions, conservatism, etc., and are not recognizing the power of women and the role that women can play.
Yes, you are right, doctor. In the rural areas, we are still having problems because of lack of education, maybe higher level of literacy in rural areas than urban. Urban, yes, there are a lot of people who are going to school. They're understanding the importance of a woman, the power of woman. They understand that. But it is just in the rural areas that it's where now we need to put more resources, right? We need to put more resources, whereby we need to make sure that the rural masses are educated and people these days are trying to make sure the girl is brought to school. Yeah, girls trained in the past. Maybe people just used to send on the boys, but this time around, there's a lot of organizations that are trying to do that. But in terms of these mediation issues, that we need to get more resources and educate, do much civic education in the rural areas so that people should understand the importance of women, the power of women. Of course, we have traditional women, traditional chiefs, right? We've got a lot of traditional chiefs in Malawi who are women. Yes, they give us an example to the community. But however, in some areas, typically in some areas, there are still some problems that we need to make sure that are eradicated completely. But more education in the rural is important, because we need to make sure that people understand the importance of a woman, apart from being just doing the house choruses, but they should understand that they have got a very big role to play. A woman is a person who looks after the family. A woman is the one who raises the children. So why not becoming a mediator? Why? Yeah, you see, when any child to grow, is growing under a woman. It's growing under a woman. That's the start of the mediation. A woman takes that responsibility. A man goes to work, comes back very late. It doesn't take more time to chat with a child. It's a woman. That's the process of mediation. She tries to make sure that that particular child goes in a human way, right? Not violent. If she tries to do the contrary, the woman will bring back that particular child into a right path, right? So that's the role of woman. So if we take from that perspective that a woman does that mediation role from the child's birth up to be a grown-up man or to be a grown-up a woman, so why not understanding and make sure that we trust a woman to be a leader or to be a mediator? So that knowledge we need to give to the rural area.
That's a very, very, very pertinent question. Yes, certainly, I agree with you 100% there. So if you look at the obstacles or challenges, can you tell me, do you have any examples of the kind of typical obstacles or challenges that you encounter during a mediation process, and how do you overcome these? Because I'm sure that, different mediation processes come with their own obstacles and challenges.
Yeah, challenges are there 100% in mediation. Like I said, if a certain party does not trust you, that's one of the challenges that the mediation collapses. Yeah, if another one of the teammates of the mediation tries maybe to go behind and wanted to receive something, whether a bribe or whatever, the mediation collapses. But the most difficult and challenging in mediation is to do with politicians. Yeah, I learned when we are dealing with the government, the ruling party, that sometimes that DPP and the Malay Congress, which is now ruling here. Yeah, it was not easy. When you are dealing with politicians, it's not easy because they want you as mediators to listen to them and take what they say as right. Well, the other party, what they are saying, the other party, they are not right. So to balance up it becomes very difficult. So it takes time. It doesn't work just within a day or 2 days or a month. No, it takes time to understand this. Sometimes you just sit back and do just shuttle diplomacy. All right. Sometimes you just bring in some connectors. So to connect to A and connect to B or connect to C, so that you make sure that the issues are taken positively. You don't rush. When you are dealing with politicians, mostly some in the ruling party, they feel they are right. They are ruling in the government, they're in the government, they have put positions, ministers, the president, they know to them they are right? Whether they're making wrongs, they don't take that. They say, we are right and take what we are saying. Let that people agree that we are right. Yeah. So similarly, those people maybe are in the position, they feel, no, these people, they are not right, we are right. So the most challenging mediation is to do with politicians. Secondary mediation that becomes very difficult is when to do with religion. Right? For example, if you are talking about Christians, maybe they have dispute with Muslims. So Muslims have disputes with Christians. That is another challenge. You are talking about doctrines. We are talking about the beliefs here. It's not easy, right? Because one particular religion feels these people are undermining us. They feel we're not praying to God, right? This is not a religion, right? The religion is ours, right? So that issue, when it comes to mediation, you need to be very careful. It's also another challenging one. So you should, when you are trying to mediate, whether the other people, they are Muslims, and you are a Muslim, I'm a Muslim, I'm a Sheikh, and I see that my friends Muslims are at the wrong, I should not side with them, right? I should not side with them. Similarly, my friend Christians, and they see their Christian counterparts are wrong, they should not side. You should be in between, right? You should not be, you should be impartial, right? So that's challenging, challenging mediation when it comes to religion. It's very difficult. So you need to handle very careful, because at the end of the day, people can start fighting. You can start fighting. So you see the dangers of fighting between religion, it's tough one. It's very tough. Yeah, the rest is this about the land dispute. Yeah, the land dispute is right. It's easy. I will give you an example also about religion. It happened in one of the areas in the southern part at Makanjira in Mangochi, the district which is at the lake there. There was a Christian pastor who had drawn a picture portraying that this is a god of Muslims. A picture which was drawn to be, this is a god of Muslims. If you hear about Allah, this is Allah, right? So he was trying to teach students there. But the area which he was doing that is predominantly Muslims. But now when the Muslims caught up with that picture, hey, it was terrible. They went to demolish the church. They went to burn the houses. It was not easy. So we had to go there. The police were sent there to make sure to pacify the situation. And we as mediators went there. Of course, the pastor was removed because they was almost to be killed. But we tried to sit down with the people involved there, mediated around this is quite okay. Things are down. The Christians are praying safely, Muslims are praying safely, everybody's okay. So, yeah, the challenging mediation is those. Most importantly, two, the major ones are these ones, politics and religion.
So, Sheikh Amir, you've been in quite a few hot situations, it looks like it. Are you documenting your mediation style, the challenges, the experiences, and then, what approaches you took, how to manage those difficulties, etc.? Because without a doubt, there is much comment, that is, we hear this a lot, that Africans don't know how to mediate, or that they don't have the knowledge, or that there's no experience, or that there isn't enough, Africans doing this, whatever. But from the interviews that we're doing, it's obvious there's a lot of you out there doing phenomenal work. So how do you take what you learn or experience from a particular conflict and then use that knowledge to improve future mediation processes? But more importantly, also, what are you doing in order to leave that experience and that knowledge for future generations?
We need to record this. We need to put in the books this, because it will be can help the future generation to come. And you are just giving me an idea. Of course, as a person who has done that, it's very important to have records as this, because just people like this is maybe I die today, maybe the mediation team die today, then we don't have records or history whereby maybe our generation to come can learn from. But we need to have a very good documentary for this. I mean, in documentation, so that the future to come, they need to. So also people to come, let's say either in Malawi or outside from other different countries, they should understand that, like you said, that people outside they think we in Africa, we don't sort out issues. We just go fighting. No, we sort out. For example, in Malawi, we could have ended in a war, maybe a big fighting since in 2019, the settlement of the elections. If we mediation didn't come in, we did a very good job. Things ended. If you remember well, if you record well about Malawi in 2019 election settlement, you find that demonstrations were almost each and every day. So we were not sleeping. We could go to the president of Malawi then, Professor Peter Mutharika, discuss with him. We could go to the opposition, the current president, Dr. Lazarus Chakwera. We could go to the vice president, Dr. Chirima, and we could go also to the former president, Dr. Muluzi, to go to the former president, Majos Banda, could discuss to make sure that this country doesn't go to war because of politics. So you can see that nobody came from outside to sort that problems. We did. And the people who were part of that, I'm one of the person who were in that group. So we have eminent people in our country. We have eminent people in Africa who can do mediation, and even these fighting that are happening across Africa, we can make sure that they are not happening. What is most important is to have the mediation acumen, right? Have the mediation acumen, have the people who can do that. Make sure understand, because people think mediation can give results just the same day. You go and talk to that party and make sure you agree. Yeah, you are at the wrong, so have to agree. No, doesn't work like that. Now you are creating a war there. Just make sure you take slowly, understand them why they are doing that, right? For example, that political, I'm just bringing back this because that was terrible. When a party thinks we have won, right? So some people, they're saying, no, you haven't won. It's a fight there. If you're not handling well that, then you expect that to aggravate more than before. But we are able to control the situations. We are able to go to HRDC, which was doing demonstration each and every day. We had to sit down with them and discuss with them, make some sense in them, so that they should understand the importance of having a country and having a torn country and having a solid country like Malawi. Malawi is a small country, but if we tear the country, then we are having nothing in the country. So yes, you could understand the political, the party that was ruling was able to understand and listen to us, and even the opposition were able to, until we had the second election, which Dr. Lazarus Chakwera won. So there were, and also after winning, because of that mediation, the president then, Professor Mutarika, did not fight. He said, no fight. I agree, you have won. Let's move on. So that's the scenario that we need to be doing. But nobody came to work, and it was Malawian, solved by Malawians. The problems were for Malawi, and it was solved by Malawians. Eminent religious leaders who were in a mediation, who were doing a great work that we did.
So, Sheikh Amir, this is very interesting because I didn't know about this, and I just need to ask you something else. When you saw all of this happening and you all decided to mediate, was this a decision amongst people in your community, people like yourself, or did somebody from the political party ask you to come in to mediate? And secondly, when you went into the mediation process, did you have to offer any kind of compromises to either political party, or did you just sit and reason and logic with and put forward rationale and logic to them and encourage them to avoid destroying?
First, in Malawi, we have got this quasi-religious organization. We call it Public Affairs Committee, PAC. Now, PAC comprises of 5 mother bodies. We have Muslim Association Malawi, Kadia Muslim Association Malawi, Episcopal Conference of Malawi, Malawi Council of Churches, and Evangelical Association Malawi. These 5 mother bodies encompasses all religion in Malawi. That's Christians and Muslims, right? We have 2 Muslim mother bodies. That's Muslim Association Malawi and the Kadia Muslim Association Malawi, which I lead as the chairman. Now, 3 mother bodies for Christians. So these are the ones that make Public Affairs Committee. Now, in Public Affairs Committee, we happen to be a board of directors. But within Public Affairs Committee, they choose a body or a team of inside mediators. So whenever there are issues in the country, these mediators, they go out and make sure that they sort. Sometimes maybe the issue the people write to Public Affairs Committee, look, there's this issue, can you send us mediators to sort out? When it comes to national issue, like I said about the issue of political, it's not about somebody writing us, but it is an issue it's a national issue. So it was a responsible Public Affairs Committee because it involved everybody. So when the issue rose, the Public Affairs Committee has to sit down and say, we have the mediators team. Can the mediators start the work? So we had to draw theories, terms of reference. What do we want to do? How do we do? What do we want to achieve? So the theories is the ones that direct us to do ABCDE. So those are and also put the code of conduct for the process. So we did that. Then you say, how do we start? So we started by talking with the oppositions, right? And then after talking with the opposition, you have to go to talk to the ruling party. So we are doing that. in terms of 50-50, what we were interested in, not to say, oh, you have to maybe to leave the government, give it to these people, or 50-50. No. But what we said, Malawi first, right? Whether you are in a ruling, you should understand you have Malawi. What people want outside there. You are in opposition in Malawi first. We have Malawi here. We don't fight. We don't want to fight here. So what are the basis of fighting? So nobody saw the relevance or the importance of fighting. Everybody felt to fight in this country was not necessary. So we are driving into that process because everybody understood what Malawi wanted. Malawi wanted to have a fair elections. Which is not rigged, many elections without rigging, election that, of course, fair, right? This is what people wanted. So that's why everybody came to compromise. I say, okay, this is what we want as a country. So that's the process of how it went. So to have a mediation in a national interest is the duty of Public Affairs Committee to make sure that whatever happens, even nobody writes to Public Affairs Committee, but we take that responsibility. But the other issues that come to attention, maybe sometimes the wrangles somewhere. For example, the wrangle which I talked about, the billboard, Christians organization wrote to Public Affairs Committee to come in between. Similarly, the wrangle that the Muslims touched the house of the reverend, which drew a god of Muslims. Yeah, we were reached. I mean, they wrote to Public Affairs Committee to make sure not to sort out those problems. So there are issues that people write to Public Affairs Committee, but there are some issues that we just come in and say, look, these are issues before they escalate. Let's come in and sort out those problems.
This is fantastic because it looks like then there is a full culture within Malawian society to turn to mediation rather than the courts, or to seek assistance from the Public Affairs Committee to resolve your conflicts rather than to have it escalate or become more violent. And I mean, this is almost unique in a sense, because I mean, if you look at other more developed countries or wherever, you know, the first outlet is the court, and the court is very expensive. And obviously it's a power play, because for the courts, it's those who can afford it will benefit and will always win. And that means that, you know, the oppressed masses, etc., are the ones that usually suffer. It's very, very interesting that you have this kind of a system in Malawi. Has it been created a long time ago? Is it an old system, or is it something that has just come into effect recently?
It has been there since 1994, when we had the multi-party dispensations, when we changed from one-party system to democracy, to multi-party. It was there, but the relevance of mediation came to be known and to understand the importance of Public Affairs Committee in 2019, when we had the political stalemate or the election stalemate. Is when people now to realize the importance of mediation, the importance of Public Affairs Committee, and you see now everybody now is saying, no, it's very important to have the mediation. And even people are trying to put the mediation teams in different forums. Let's say in churches, in mosques, they are trying to put small committee. We are trying to help them to have that, so that when there are wrangles, there are disputes, let them discuss within there. The court arbitration issues is very expensive. To involve today a lawyer, you need to have a lot of money. But if they sit down the issues and they can sit down and discuss, then they end there. And we're trying to say, no, look here. We have religious leaders, we have pastors, we have bishops, we have reverends, we have sheikhs, we have imams, we have muftis. They have knowledge with the traditional leaders. Let them combine, and the other influential people, they can sit down and say, look here, the issue, how do we sort out this problem? So we are trying to make sure that these mediations is almost everywhere. Of course, in the past, everybody, mostly when it comes to this politician, with the issue, they rush to court. Yeah, at the end of the day, a lot of monies are spent to that extent. But to answer in short, the question is that Public Affairs Committee was there, mediation team was there, but relevance and understanding of the mediation came very heavily to say in 2019 when they saw the importance of having mediation and the importance of public affairs committee.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Amir, for your wonderful insights and for sharing all of this, knowledge with us, for giving us a very privileged opportunity to understand how mediation is effected in Malawi. And I really do hope that you are documenting, or you will start to document your processes and write down the wisdoms, because certainly it looks like there is a huge amount of wisdom that comes into play here in the way in which you manage the society, you manage the conflict, and you encourage people to find solutions. This is phenomenal, because on a daily basis, you're working to avoid conflict. And that is a huge task. But I really, really, really hope that, you guys will start documenting it and put forward the knowledge for future generations, because you have cumulative knowledge, wisdoms that have been passed to you from old, from which, the younger generation might not necessarily have benefited from. And it's your responsibility to share this with them and to create some sort of a succession plan where they can learn from this.
Yeah, definitely. No, we are going to make sure that these issues are documented and are put in for the people to come. One writer, American writer, James Freeman, said, most of the time we are talking about the politicians just to think about the next elections. While the statesmen, they think about the next generation. So we as mediators and religious leaders, we should be thinking about the next generation. We shouldn't be thinking about election tomorrow or the other day to come, but we should be thinking about the next generation. So to think about next generation in this essence, as mediators, we need to write down what is happening today, what happened yesterday, and put in paper so that the generation to come, they should know that the ancestors, the elders did this and managed to sort out the problems in the best way and put things in the best practices.
Certainly. Thank you.
I really appreciate.
Yes, thank you. And I really appreciate it. This was an eye-opener for me. I really, really enjoyed your insights. Thanks, Sheikh Amir, and keep up the good work. And I hope that we have the opportunity to engage with you further at a later time.